All right. How's it going, my fellow Lorcana players? It's Terrace Black here. My girlfriend's, girlfriends, I wish. JK. No, I don't, how are we starting this? I don't know. My girlfriend took my computer chair, so I do not have that to sit on, so I'm standing for this video. We're going to get fancy, I guess. I'm going to break my back doing this. But, anyways, as you've seen from the title, I did it again. Set 6 has been working good for your boy. It feels like set 2 all over again. We just keep getting some top placements. But to be fair, in the previous sets, because of the DLCs and because of set champs, seems like all the stores gave up on doing cash tournaments. Now they're finally starting to pop up again. So what do I do when there's cash tournaments? I top and I either win or I just top. But back when I was just, never splitting and getting first place at all of them, that was primarily driven by the fact that I was unemployed and I needed as much money as I possibly could get. So my stakes were a little bit higher than the average player there. Whereas now, I have a job, have a nice new place. So I don't necessarily need as much money as possible. And if I can, keep a little shred of sanity with me and make the day a little bit less long and go have some nice dinner with some friends afterwards without, having to get home at 10 o'clock in the morning, then then yeah, I kind of choose to do that and kind of just start splitting now because I kind of made it to the top. I made money. If I made money, I made money, right? Um, and we'll get to the kind of funny situation with this event, but yeah, I was able to make it to the finals, playing Ruby Amethyst as I always do, uh, and I made it there with a buddy of mine. Shout out Justin, the Diz dude, the Disney dude, aka TDD Collects. Also ran an awesome kids tournament not that long ago. I think it was literally last week. Shout out Justin. We're going to have some content coming in the future, so keep a lookout for that. But both of us, we made the finals. Both playing red purple because red purple's good. It's always been good, and it's doing pretty well this set. And yeah, so let's go over my list super quick. Nothing too crazy here. So this is honestly what I tend to do when it comes to deck building because I'm not really a crazy big deck builder. I like to theory craft and throw like jank together, and that just comes from my Magic days. But in terms of like actually making competitive lists, I'm not really that savvy. Just coming up with things off the top. Most of the time, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a net decker, and I just kind of optimize from there. Go off my personal, way I like to play and kind of optimize the list, which is how in the last top 8 video I made with my list, I essentially took I took a list from Edmund and then kind of boiled it down to something that fits more of my style. And here, what I did was I just took a list that this one actually I net decked myself. Ha ha ha. Yeah, net decked myself from the set champs that I ended up winning last set. The last set champs I played in that I ended up getting first place. And I pretty much just took the Ruby Amethyst list that I did to make that, and I essentially just added genies, and that was about it. So really nothing too crazy here. Your typical one drops, typical twos. You'll see something interesting here is I was trying to make space for the genies while also not completely shaving down on the rabbits. I see a lot of people doing like 4 and 2, and I really wanted to try to stick to 3 and 3 just for this time, just to keep trying it. 4 genies, 2 rabbits might actually be the play nowadays. Um, just because genie is so busted, and then also, I have only 3 brawls here and 4 brawls now that there's a ton of genies, uh, is probably also the play. So after some play testing, that's probably what I would do, is do some changing. But yeah, so a big change is, I shaved down and went to 3 snakes for this list. And that was something that me and my buddy Mark, that you've seen on the channel before, and on Twitter or whatever, that I'd be loving my man Mark. Um, yeah, we kind of talked about the list and kind of melded together ideas he had and suggestions he had for me going into the event and ideas I had. And one that we kind of concluded on was just going three snakes. And honestly, I might stick to that. I didn't really feel like, oh man, I wish I had more snakes right now. Because honestly, like early game, you kind of want to just go as wide as you possibly can now to make, like Fox as good as possible. So, like, 2-1 drops on turn two tends to be the better play, especially with Steel Song being as strong as it is. Ends up being the better play than a snake. So, you kind of just have snake for late game. And so I think three is actually fine. I think making space for something more impactful early or mid game actually makes more sense than having four snakes now. And I've always felt that if any of the mims were going to get shaved down at some point, it was always going to be the snake. Fox is way too good, way too overstated to not be a four of. But snake, it's it does some cool things. It lets you do some bounce and replay stuff like earlier than the fox does. But really, like, it's just a solid, bouncing card. Whereas Fox is not only an extremely solid bouncing card, but also extremely strong card that your opponent always has to try to play around and keep in mind. Um, yeah, so sticking with the Flynn Sisu, we seen the EU list, and honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. So I have 7 locations here, and I went back to this strategy. The reason why I went back to this strategy is because I figured, because I wasn't really keeping up too crazy with the EU stuff. Last I checked, I was seeing, a red blue list with McDuck Manners and Flynn and Sisu and just crazy shenanigans doing really well. So I didn't know what to expect going into this event. I just thought people, like they tend to do, like I do sometimes, do some net decking. So before I woke up and saw the news, um, I just thought red blue with crazy manner shenanigans was going to be what I was going to run into a lot. And I didn't expect to wake up and then not only see Lorcana villain Baker. Much love to you shouting me out on the stream. That was awesome to wake up and see. For my love of the library, showing some appreciation for me being like one of the only people since the card has been released or revealed that has consistently continued to play it and say, hey, this card is busted because it is busted. Um, and you see it here. But yeah, so I kind of went back to the 7 location strategy simply because I thought there was going to be a lot of red blue. And in my playtesting, with John Williams, you know, just the best Florida player that nobody knows about for some reason. In my playtest with him and, Mark and other people, red blue has seemed like, still beatable with using red purple, but not as easily beatable as it was in the past. And that's because most of the new lists aren't running locations like at all. And I wanted to try to get ahead of that. If okay, red blue's going to come around doing shenanigans, then I'm just going to be back on the 7 locations because that works really, really well against red blue. And yeah, little did I know it was just going to be red purple. A lot of red purple. I didn't have. I could have just went against red purple all day today, but thankfully I had a little bit of switch up. But yeah, so red purple ended up being the thing, and thankfully, my specialty is the red purple mirror. I did get spanked, and we'll go over that by Justin during Swiss. He was playing red purple. He was playing the EU list. So yeah, honestly, my list isn't too crazy. I think I will on my next event kind of go closer to what the EU list is, but find a way to jam in, my 3 libraries because library's busted. I don't know why people still underplay this card. It's so good. And to be honest and to be fair, the 4 castles put in a lot of work during this tournament and during my matchups. But then at the same time, while it was super strong, there were moments where it actively actually was the reason why I lost. Lost a match or even lost a round. So, love hate relationship, like I have with Genie with the castles. I just think Genie is better than castles. So maybe it's just 4 Genies and just all in on the Genie plays. Whereas the 3 libraries just feel solid. And there was many times where I was desperately like, if I had a library right now, even if it got taken out 2 turns later, whatever it may be, would be so beneficial for me at this moment compared to like me dropping a castle because you're already planning on doing specific trades. You're already planning on doing certain removal plays, or expecting your board to be removed, and the library just gives you so much insurance and so much backup in those situations. And it's just a tank. Also, like it's in between the health of Castle and McDuck Manor, and McDuck Manor is damn near playable just because it has 9 health, whereas the library should be extremely playable because it has 8 health and a super, super good ability that is very versatile. I'm not going to stop hyping this card up. I'm not going to stop playing it. If I'm the only one that's got to play it, I'm the only one that's got to play it. It is what it is. So, yeah, I'd probably, like I said, I think the EU list is probably where you want to be at right now, and then just finding the space for 3 libraries is essentially what I'm gonna do. Hold up, I'm gonna sit this down, and I'm gonna get some water real quick, and then we're gonna go into matchups. This is an intermission. This is what happens when you don't feel like editing none of your videos. You have people watch you drink water, and that's what happens. So yeah, let's kind of see if I can make this bigger. All right. Can I zoom in? I think I can. We'll make it super big. Yeah, so let's go over matchups real quick. So round one, got to make sure he has a Twitter. Gotta try. But my buddy Anthony that I met recently, he's just started getting into the game. I think this was his 9th day playing the like Lorcana in person at all, which is huge. And he's been a cool guy that I've met recently, and we've been play testing. And he's really already. I mean, he comes back, from a background of Yu-Gi-Oh and playing that very competitively. Um, and yeah, he's been doing really well. He didn't make it to the top 8, unfortunately, in this event, but in what was it, the Saturday event? So this was Sunday, the Saturday 1K in Lakeland. He was able to make top 8, and making top 8, honestly, being your 8th day ever playing the game, when you're playing against a bunch of people that have been playing the game since day one, is huge. So I give him major props. And we had some really good games round one, and he's who I faced. Um, and I almost like 2-0'd him, but I just quite barely didn't make the finish line. We were like, the game went forever, and we I think we had like, both of us had maybe like 10 cards or so left in our decks. Like, that's how long the game was going. And I was at 19, and I was desperately hoping that I just top deck my last goat, but it just didn't happen by the time he was able to claw back. So almost got the 2-0, but it was what it was. But it was still very fun games. And then game 3, I went first and just went super, super fast. Then round 2, I got absolutely spanked by Justin. Shout out Justin, go follow him. He was playing the EU list, but I think he was playing like a slightly incorrect version. So it was like he had like 3 of each ladies and only 1 bell, and something else that was different. But yeah, he smashed it. I mean, he got, by the time we got to the top 2, it was me and him, and he got, he was in first seed. So yeah, he did absolutely crazy. He popped off this tournament. Shout out to him. It's been honestly super awesome seeing Justin progress in this game, and just get to the point that he's now where I legitimately just see him as like a straight up equal. And anytime we sit across from each other, I start to sweat a little bit. I can't lie. He make me sweat. Um, and shout out Justin. He did awesome. He's been doing awesome for a while now. And I remember, same as me, like when we both first started playing the game set 1 and we both got in, we were kind of like very rough at playing, and we've grown into like the players that we are now. So always give him super major props. Then in round 3, I actually was able to come back and 2-0 the guy. Um, I wish I feel so bad for not remembering his name. But me and him, we've been going back and forth against each other in tournaments since we met each other. When the first time we ever met each other was actually back during set 2, when I won like the 3 tournaments in a row. And across all of those tournaments, I only lost a single round. And the one round that I lost to was to him, actually. And he was playing at the time my exact 60 card list that I made my very first video on this channel about, and that in-depth guide. He watched it, put the list together, ended up facing me right afterwards at the next tournament, and yeah, he was able to 2-0 me. I made a super critical mistake on game two, which allowed him to win. I literally had the goat bounce win in my hand, and I just didn't see it for some reason. And I was just playing too fast and lost. But that was like it was almost like a win and a loss at the same time because it was like, hey, I won because you're playing my exact list using my exact knowledge. But it's also a loss because well, I lost and I don't like to lose. But since then we've literally been going back and forth in rounds, and the top eight that I made on that last video I made about Ruby Amethyst in my top eight. Um, I faced him round one. He was playing this exact like Amber Ruby like aggro deck, and he 2-0'd me round one at that 2K, and then we met each other here round three, and I was able to come back, slap him over the head with a 2-0 of myself. So if we continue the tradition, then the next time I see him, he's gonna 2-0 me, and we're just, we're just gonna keep going back and forth. So that's always fun. And then round four, I faced a burn red purple, and there was actually a couple red purples there that were running kind of the burn strategy. A buddy of mine was actually running my exact burn list, and he was doing really well, but then it just started falling off near the end. Um, and I wish I could have watched his games a little bit more because I would have loved to see if there was maybe different ways that I would have played the matchups compared to him. But he was doing really well with my burn list. But I do think that list requires you to like really like just grind and practice it, because it is very straightforward and kind of aggressive. But there's certain moments where if you make a fatal mistake, you just absolutely like lose. But it was cool to see him doing well at the beginning, and this guy, he was playing kind of his own version of the burn list. I was able to get the 2-0 because Castle was busted this day. Then, yeah, round five, ID'd because I could to get in the top eight. If you can play it safe and you can ID, play it safe. It's not like if it was like a DLC or something, then I totally understand people playing for the top seed. But like when it's kind of like there's still stakes to a tournament like this, but it's not as high stakes. Just ID'd again to top eight, man. Don't even play with it. So yeah, so ID'd round five, and then going into top eight, I went against my guy Humble, and Humble, from good old Labyrinth. Him and Ryan, they're both down here. Mr. R&B, they're both down here in Florida. Awesome guys, and obviously, anytime I have to go up against them, it's like I hear Elden Ring, like boss music in the background. So I was super anxious going into this top eight. And honestly, I was one of the people that was down to split for the top eight. But what happened in this tournament was I was like, okay, well, I'm down to split. And then there would be like one person that was like, I'm playing. And it reminded me of myself in set two. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, let's go. And so top eight, face Humble. He was playing red blue. He was I'm gonna call him out. My man Humble was crap talking the red blue list that had McDuck Manor in it. And then this man is playing his own McDuck Manor version. And it caught me off guard round one because of that. And so in match one, he played the Manor, and I just had to spend so much time getting rid of it. And as soon as I saw that, and I told him too, as soon as I saw that Manor, I'm like, okay, and he beat me that match, I'm like, all right, well, now I know what you're playing. Now I know what games you're on. So I'm going to adjust. I'm going to evolve. And then from there, I was able to 2-0 him in games after that. And funny enough, it was kind of like the same exact story going into top four. Same situation. I was ready to split, but the guy I faced, awesome dude. Met him a couple times before, but he was the one that was like, nah, we're playing. So I'm like, okay, fine. We'll play top four. And yeah, he was playing green purple, doing all like super well all day. And Yeah, he joked before this round and saying that he was playing like a super spicy red blue, and I was dumb enough to believe him. So like I mulliganed thinking red blue, and then I just see him turn one curse merfolk, and I'm like, bruh. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And so yeah, he took game one going first because he was higher seed. And then same with my match against Humble. I was like, okay, well, I know what you're playing now. So I'm gonna adjust my play style or like kind of my mentality going into these next games. And I was able to 2-0 him after that. The last game was actually super close, but once again, Castle carried me. It's like love-hate relationship. Like I'm like, I don't want to play the card because there was a lot of spots where like having the card was actually like detrimental to me. I would have rather had something better. But then at the same time, like it just put in so much work because nobody's thinking Castle anymore because none of the lists are running Castle. So then when you hit them, like I hit Humble with the double Castle, triple B prep after that, like what are they going to do? They're not prepared for those plays because nobody's doing it no more. So honestly, it kind of worked out, but like I said, I'll probably just switch to more of like an EU style list and but just slot in some libraries. And yeah, so I was able to get into top two, and finally, my buddy Justin was able to shake my hand, and we split so we could go eat some Hooters, go eat some wings, because I hadn't eaten all day, which ends up being kind of like a rite of passage for me. Ironically, not planned, where you definitely should eat before a tournament, but for whatever reason, because I spontaneously decide to go to tournaments like the morning of, essentially my mornings consist of waking up, going, "All right, I'll go. I'm gonna play in this tournament." And then I just get ready and just drive over there because it's never like right down the street. It's always like an hour away, and then yeah, I just have to play the whole tournament, not eating any food, and it works out, I guess, because I'm my brain is so focused on just the game because I can't focus on eating or anything else, or I'm literally just gonna starve to death. Yeah, so that was my recent top two split. I mean, just continue to try to confirm to myself that I'm not a terrible player, and I'll probably honestly I've been wanting to make a video about mentality and anxiety and things like that because I'll be honest, before every single tournament, unless I'm going in with like a broom mill list or like a red blue location list, like something stupid, um, I honestly dread every single tournament. It doesn't even matter if I know tough people are going to be there or not. Like I super dread going to every tournament, and like majority of the time at the tournament it's just like constant anxiety and just having to fight through that. And I would love to make a video, sit down with some guys of some buddies of mine and kind of have that conversation just to hopefully make other people feel like they're not alone in that. um but yeah, so I was able to do good. Hey. Um, yeah. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Follow my ex, man. Follow the Twitter. Follow Justin the Diz Dude. Follow Humble, and then also, I think in the comments here we got the other guys here. So Eric, go follow my buddy Eric, man. Uh, Lorcana Goons. Vincent and Eric, man. They're the two guys right here. Awesome guys, amazing guys. Um, Sorry I didn't remember your names off the top when I was talking about the matchups, but you guys are awesome. And yeah, go follow those guys. Subscribe here, comment down below what you think, what you're thinking about doing for this set. Do you think red purple's just going to be the best deck? Do you think we're just all those red purple people, we're just getting lucky? Let me know. Let me know. Do the usual YouTube things, like I said, man. Just subscribe, like, comment. I don't know, man. I'm just here. I'm just a guy that turns the camera on and just happens to play cardboard and happens to do well at events. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys for watching my stuff. Oh yeah, also, oh my god, I almost forgot. Where is it at? Where is it at? I'm doing a giveaway. I'm giving away an enchanted oh my lord, can I speak? Enchanted Daisy Duck, man. I love this. Is like my favorite enchanted from the set. I was able to trade and get it, and now I'm giving it away because That's just what I like to do. I can't help but give stuff away. And the way to get it is very simple. Just make sure you're following my Twitter, and follow, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Go onto my Twitter, repost this post, and that's literally it. And this Friday is when I believe the 13th is Friday, right? I don't know. I'm bad. But that's when I'm ending the giveaway, and then I'll give it to one of you guys. So make sure to go do that. And yeah, my back hurts a little bit. So I'm going to go take a shower and sit down. And I haven't eaten yet at all today, so I'm going to go eat something. And hope you guys are either eating something right now or eating something later and having a great day, man. Uh, love you guys. See you guys later. Peace out.